Hello, fellow traders. This is TheRumpledOne coming to you on Sunday, April the 23rd. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Weekly, open, and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So we take a look at the weekly and we see that we have two gaps that have not filled. The pound gap down, and it has filled that gap. We're right around the weekly open here at 24.32, 19 off the high and 10 off the low. We'll zoom out to the month. We can see we're still 97 pips above the monthly open, 114 off the high and 159 off the low. And we are putting in the opening range for the week. As you can see, it looks like we once again touched the opening range for the month and it's bounced off. Notice we've got an inside bar from a couple of days ago, and Friday looks like it was almost a doji. Now for the year, we're 350, or rather 343 pips above the open, 114 off the high and 630 off the low. And notice once again, if you look at the last 4 months, you can see we are still toying with that wick zone of these 4 months. We're above from 2 months ago. We're like right at the edge from last month, and we're just below the highs from 3 and 4 months ago. So this is a critical area here. It's going to go, probably going to blow big one way or the other. There's pressure mounting, that's for sure. And we are in the inside bar range from 2 days ago. We're in the inside bar range from 1 week ago. And it looks like we are above the monthly inside bar from 2 months ago. So, and it looks like there's enough inside bar action to keep the inside bar traders busy. The range so far today, about 7.5 hours into the trading day, no pair over 100 pips in range. And once again, we're toying with the weekly open here, seeing we've got a red H1 candle crossing that line. Not enough range for the rats. Bambino Flex says to go long. And if we're near the R1, we go short. If we're near the daily pivot, which we haven't hit yet, we go long. And if we're way down at S1, looks like it's calling for a long. And we haven't touched that weekly pivot yet. So monthly, we haven't touched. Weekly, we've taken it. Oh, I guess we did take it out. So yeah, this was the first candle of the day. Looks like we took out that weekly pivot. And back to the daily. We've just missed the daily by a few pips. Missed by 4 pips right here. The wick zone. As you saw earlier, Friday was just nothing but wicks. Nothing but wicks. So we'll have to see what happens today. And if we look at these ranges here, the daily range, the past 4 days is 82 or lower, all the way down to 63. That's like hardly any action at all. Something's happening. And for the week, once again, we're only at 29 pips right now. So there's really not much to see there. Looking at the simple price action chart here, notice I've got the lines at every 25 for the psychologicals. And what's kind of interesting when you look at these psychologicals, in fact, I need to, let me turn something off here. Sweet spots. We're not really having a buy or sell zone when we're doing the psychologicals. So what we're going to look for is the price hit 50. So it's either going to hit 75 or it's coming down to the 25. So you hit the 25, so it's either going to hit the double O or the 50. That's just the way price moves. And it's something that you can exploit. And you can exploit it for, a nice couple of handful of pips if you're willing to wait. And it might take an hour or two to be in the trade. Some of us, we only like to be in the trade for a few seconds or a few minutes. But others are a little more patient and they can collect more pips per trade that way. Looking at higher low, lower high with the where the three balls have put in support and resistance. And you can see here we're right at one of these levels. We're putting in a new three ball here. And so it might look to support. You can see here we had a previous level, put in a three ball, and prices moved back down from there. We haven't extended the range here, so we've only got a week left in April, so it's looking like over these past 5 days there needs to be a lot of pip movement to move the needle. Looking at the three level ZZ trade here, once again trading off of the looking at psychological levels, trading, looking for reversals after you see a three ball put in. And let's see if the let's start with the month, see if there's anything interesting. Previous monthly bar was an outside bar, and the one before that was an inside, and I think the one before that may have been an outside, but it looks kind of close here. High 461, high 470. So yeah, that was outside, inside, outside. Says price is turning up above the upper wick zone. Buyer strong control. Drop down to the weekly. Price between the wick zones. Lower high, higher low. Of course, we're just starting. Nothing real interesting there. We look at the daily. Price inside the lower wick zone. It's nothing but wick zones. We got to fade the pivot. We've already seen that. Higher high, higher low so far today. So that's what we have. And this week, I saw an interesting quote, and I'll probably talk about it a few times this week. And the quote is simple, 3 words: progress requires unlearning. I've alluded to that before. It's like if you want to get better, something has to change. You can't get better doing everything the same. Something has to change, because better implies change. But if you think about that, progress requires unlearning. In other words, something that you've learned, you're going to have to unlearn. You're going to have to replace. You're going to have to stop. And if you think about it, I mean, really, really think about it, it could be a blow to the ego. I mean, there's something that you may have learned years ago, months ago, weeks ago, a decade or more ago, and it could be holding you back. Could be a belief you have that you're going to have to give up, but that progress requires unlearning. And that's one of those things where you have to sit in front of the mirror and take a really hard look, or maybe go someplace where it's really quiet. You can sit with your thoughts, and you have to look within, and you have to ask yourself, what must I unlearn? Because it's so easy for us traders, oh, this system sucks. Let me replace the system. Even though there's some people that were successful with the system. Oh, this broker sucks. Let me get a new broker. Oh, let me change the time frames. 1 minute's nothing but noise. Let me move up to the 1 hour chart. I mean, there's just so many things that are on the outside that you can point to or quote unquote try to fix. But that simple 3 words, progress requires unlearning. All the focus is on you, the trader. You have to unlearn something in order to make progress. I mean, that kind of like really hits you right between the eyes. I mean, you can't argue against it. It's it's something that you and you alone have to fix. You are responsible for it. Your education, that's you. What you learn, that's all up to you. It doesn't matter who the teacher is or what they're teaching. The question is whether or not you learn. And that's it. It's the bottom line. And when you trade, the market is a very unforgiving teacher sometimes. You keep making the same mistake, it's going to punish you. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot. Or sometimes it might even reward you and then punish you really hard. So, my question is, and if anybody out there is, I don't know, brave enough, open enough to put a comment in what they have to unlearn, be much appreciated. Because when you share something with others, sometimes the littlest thing could affect somebody else big, big time, huge effect. Because they may have never stumbled across something that you've just discussed or shared. So, fellow traders, I hope you have had a fun and safe weekend, and I hope you have a profitable day, week, and month. So, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.